back. This is the Guys channel. It is nice to be back with you for this video. Today we'll be working the OA January 2025 for office administration. So it's nice to be back with you people today. Um, in the case that I will post a link at the end of this video at the bottom in the description below. So we will be having live streams at 9 o'clock tonight. If you are interested by any chance, you can take a look at that live stream. So you could actually come into the live stream, could actually come into the Zoom class. I will post the Zoom number. I will post it. If you're interested, you could actually join. I will post it on my channel and you could join. If you're really interested in asking any questions, it's an open forum. You are able to ask questions. So as I said today, we'll be working the OA. We work in the OA 2025 Office Administration. So that's something that I want to really highlight. So without further ado, I believe we could actually start now. So with one here, which of the following document provides information on the lines of authority in a company? That's the organizational chart. It's not job description. Job description gives you the details of what is to be in your job or what you're required to do. The list of directors is totally unrelated, and the directors report are totally unrelated. So the final answer in this instance here is the organizational chart. So we got that out the way. So this answer is the organizational chart. So that is it for question one. Now let's move on to question two. Dissemination of information. Let's look at dissemination. Dissemination basically means that you're actually giving information around to a group of individuals. So dissemination of information in any organization may be classified as ensuring that information is safe or collecting all information in the office, getting information from all departments, distributing information received to all departments. Distributing information. So that would be D. So since dissemination is giving information to different personnel and different individuals and actually sharing that information, dissemination is actually giving that information out. So that is what dissemination actually is in all in our reality. Now let's move on to question three. Which of the following office layouts allows for easier supervision of staff? The answer for this is open plane. In the open plane office, in the virtual office that is online, the cellular office is by yourself, and the centralized office is a totally case scenario. In the open plane office, you usually have your co-workers working beside you in your cubicle. So to say the open plane office allows staff to be able to access you more easier than in the virtual cellular or even centralized office. You could basically they have easier accessibility to you because you are not far or you're not in a cellular office to say. So that's it for three. Let's move on to four. In a sole trader business, the decision regarding what to purchase is usually made by the answer for this would be the proprietor, right? The decision regarding what to purchase is regulated by the proprietor. Not the cashier. So because it's a sole trader business, the proprietor is the person that owns the business, and since they don't have a lot to rely on, they don't have a cashier or anything to rely on in general. They have to rely on the proprietor, which is basically the owner of that business to say. So let's move on to five. Which of the following attributions should an office clerk possess? Honesty. If you're looking at curiosity, they don't really require that. Generosity, because they need to sell a product. Forgiveness, that's something totally unrelated. So let me just put this on the screen. They need to be transparent, parent in order to promote business incentives and be clear about the standing in the bit of the business. So this is why they basically need to be they need to be honest. They need to be transparent or honest in order to promote business incentives or goals and be clear about the standing of the business. So they should be clear that we're not making a lot of profits and we need to do this. If they're telling the business that they're making profits and in reality they're not making profits, that could lead them to being fired or basically dispatched from that job, to say in a consecutive amount of words. So that is it for six. No, that's it for five. Now let's move on to six. Which of the following factors is not a major consideration when choosing an economical design that meets the needs of an employee? So we have stress level, risk of injury, performance standard. So let's read back the question. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so that you guys could understand fully. So let's answer this question in the best way we can. Which of the following factors is not a major consideration when choosing economical design that meets the needs of an employee? So we have stress level, that could be a reason. Stress level is a reason. Risk of injury is a reason. Performance standard is a reason. The only one that is not a reason or consideration is personal taste. That doesn't make sense in that regard right there. So we are at question six. We are moving with a good pace. So with seven now. Which of the following forms of communication is illustrated above? Visual. We could see the information. It's not oral, they're not talking, they're not writing information. They're actually visualizing that information. So in this case, the answer is the visual information. So with that, we answered item 7. So we're at question 8 now. Which a small package containing important documents to be mailed to Canada from a Caribbean island. Which mailing service would be most suitable? And that would be registered, right? Because registered meaning that you're telling the people that you're bringing this amount of goods into the economy or to the country. So packaging is or packaging containing important documents. That's registration. It cannot be recorded because that's audio. It cannot be first class because that's for people, and it cannot be standard because that's also for people. Another term for standard is domestic or domestic class. They say, but the CSEC usually changes thing differently. So it's domestic class, which is basically an inference to the people usually taking standard flight invitations, meaning that when you're going to make a flight trip, they have standard class, they have first class, they have second class. That's the basic just of it. And the domestic class or standard is what people usually go with. So that is it for 8. Let's go on to 9. A memorandum is used to communicate within a form. It is usually inclusive of communication within the form, not outside of the form. So in this, for instance, short notes, personal friends. No, it's not related to that. Communication of business matters. Yes, but not exactly. Informal communication. It is not an informal communication. It is informal communication, but it's informal communication with people who are working in the business, not with clients. So that's why the best answer in this, for instance, is A. So that's it for A, people. Now let's go on to 10. A customer inquired about a letter sent to the firm 1 month ago. To determine if the letter was received, the mail clerk should report to the mail register. Because if you look at the question, it says a letter. Let's assume in as much as you can. It says here a letter. Pull that right off. A letter is being received. Again, a bit too much. Have to go out a bit. So they're saying a letter is to be received. So it's a mail register. It cannot be a diary. It can be a postage book, and it can be a corresponding digest. That just doesn't make any sense. So since it is a letter, it will be posted to the mail or mail of registrars. So we're at 11 now. Where is 11? Where is 11? Where is 11? Alright, good. A letter of acceptance is sent when a person agrees to take up a job offer. Agrees to take up a job offer. Because you're actually accepting the request in to say exactly. Receive a salary through the bank? No. Plans to attend an interview for a job? Receives original documents sent within an application. So the best answer is agrees to take up a job offer. A letter of acceptance is usually a job offer sent to you from a supplier, from an employer, and that you will usually make that decision on whether you want to take that job to say or not. So we're at 12 now. We don't have a lot more to go. We're already one quarter the way, at least near one quarter. Which of the following questions should an applicant avoid asking during an interview? When will I be given a wage increase? That will usually take the people the wrong way, and they will say that you're only in it for the money and you do not care about us, and you're asking for a demand that they can't really offer. So that would be B. That would be the best answer. So since we have that out of the way, let's move on to the 13th question. Which of the following is not a source of information and job opportunities? Encyclopedia. You could find information about the news on the newspaper, the company's letter, and stuff like that, but you won't find information on job opportunities on encyclopedia, because encyclopedia is used for something different, and that is encyclopedia is used for related definitions of terms and stuff like that, that they don't deal with job opportunities or job opportunities. If you try to find a job encyclopedia, they will just give you a definition of job opportunities and not job opportunities in itself. So we have 40 now. Which of the following duties are performed by the records management clerk? So they create files for clients and they locate and distribute files. They don't develop sales strategies. That's a function of the marketing department. Just put that here. So that's a function of the marketing department. So that would be I and I. So we're at 50 now. In an alphabetical filing system, the name MRST Smith is filed before Dr. Tom Smith. Which of the following rules were applied? So nothing comes before something. Titles are placed at the end but ignore when indexing. So we're already 15, right? We're at 15. So that would be I and I and that three I's here. Ladies come before men. That's some ethical principle that does not deal with alphabetical filing system. So yes, we have that out of the way now. Filing done through the use of microfilming is valuable for the storage of information which must be kept for many years. So filing done through the use of microfilm is used for or valuable for storage of information which must be kept for many years. So yes, that's it for that. So we're at 17 now. Which of the following is used to indicate that a file is removed from a filing cabinet? An out card. Cannot be a note on the cabinet, a cross-reference card. It cannot be a tickler system. So usually, in this instance, it's an out card, right? So hopefully you guys understand that. An out card is what they usually put. It's like a paper like this here, I guess, and they usually have a number. Or just put like, for example, one, and usually you could figure out that something is gone when that is no longer there. So you could usually figure that out when that is no longer there. So they would usually have like number stamps like that on these books or on these files, and you could know that when a file is received when you don't find that number there anymore. So in which of the following situation is cross-referencing not needed? The name of supplier has changed. Yes. A piece of correspondence relates to more than one name. Yes. A female customer has a name through change through the mark. Yes. A document is to be placed under a special name for easy retrieval. They did not change your name or anything. Their name is still the same, so there's no need for cross reference in here. So we're at 19 now. What is the purpose of maintaining a reception register in an organization? So that's to record the number of persons who visit the organization. Reception register, that's just to record the amount of people who come in to the organization. So we're at 20 now. Mr. Smith, a valued customer, visits the office one day before his scheduled appointment because he is in the area. What should the receptionist do? Find out if the person with whom Mr. Smith has an appointment can see him. So for that, he needs to find out if it's even possible. So let's look at this. Let's break this question down a bit. Let me try to break it down. So Mr. Smith is a customer. He's a very valued customer. So that means he's respected, right? So Mr. Smith is a valued customer. He visits the office one day before his scheduled appointment, right? Because he is in the area. So the receptionist to see if the person with whom Mr. Smith has appointment can even see him to begin with. They can't just turn him down because look at this, he's a valued customer. They cannot turn him down. That would just be plain wrong. It would be a bad reputation. So that's it for 20. Let's move on to 21 now. So Ami is traveling to a destination where time is 2 hours ahead of the time at her place of departure. If her plane departs at 12 noon and the flight takes 1 hour and 30 minutes, at what time should Annie arrive at the destination? So the answer is 15:30 hours, right? So let's break this down. So Annie is traveling to a destination where time is 2 hours ahead of time at her place of departure. If a plane departs at 12 noon and the flights take 1 hour, so we add that 1 hour, that would be how much? That would be 13, right? 1 hour and 30 minutes. That would be 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's that's basically 13 hours. 13 hours plus the 2 hours here. Let me just type thing that up. The 2 hours, so we're not counting 12, 1, and 12 o'clock, then we move to 1, We're counting 12, 13, right? So the one that was added, that was added at, so she takes 1 hour and 30 minutes. So that is 1 hour. So she's basically going at 1 hour, 13 hours, 30, right? So ahead of time, that is 2 hours. So with that incursion, we could say that the 2 hours that was added will make 15 hours, 15 hours and 30, 15, 30. So that's how we got our initial answer there. 15, 30 hours. That's not really difficult. That's easy. This one is easy. This one not hard. So that's it for 21. At the beginning of the day, an executive tells the receptionist that he will be unable to keep an 11 a.m. appointment with a client in his office. What action must the receptionist take? Email the client, apologize, and ask or to suggest an alternative date. Should the receptionist or the client in the office, when the client arrives, apologize and offer her another appointment? So she should telephone the client, apologize, and suggest a time for a new appointment. She should basically reschedule. That's the best instance because he will be unable to keep an 11 a.m. appointment. The 11 a.m. appointment is when he's supposed to be there, but he cannot be there due to various reasons. So the basic thing to do as a receptionist or a client um, is to reschedule the appointment. Just put that, reschedule the appointment. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right, so I'm sorry if the word is not right. So she should reschedule the appointment, reschedule it. So that's why we put C for an answer. So we're at 23 now. The term verbatim minutes refers to a lot of children don't know what this is. So the verbatim minutes refers to the exact words of the proceeding at the meeting. So if you made a statement at the meeting, the verbatim meeting is basically what exactly you said. They usually use this term in the court of law or the cabinet meetings. Whenever a person makes a suggestion in the court, they will take down the exact words you use and they could use it against you. And those exact words that they use against you, or the exact words that you quote, is verbatim minutes. That's what they refer to as in that instance. So a quorum consists of total number of members present at the meeting, executive members of the committee present at the meeting, minimum number of members to be present for a meeting to call into order, or a specific executive members who must be present for a meeting to be conducted. So this is actually it. So a quantum consists of specific executive members. So when you use the term quantum, like if you're going to keep a meeting in the court of law, there must be the speaker. If there is no speaker, if there is no speaker of the house, the incentive of the court actually being able to start is impossible. So for the court to start, they need this person here. They need to actually have the person in place before they could actually start. So we have that information out of the way. So we're at 25 now. So during a meeting, a member needed to discuss a matter not listed on the agenda. Under which heading is the member allowed to have the discussion? The answer for this is any other business. During a meeting, a member needed to discuss a matter not listed on the agenda. So they cannot ask if it's not even on the agenda. They cannot really ask. So they need to ask at some other time, which is any other business incentive or any other business time. So that's it for 25. Where are we right now? We're at 26. We zoom out. So item 26 report the following extracts from Mr. E. Faraway itinerary. Itinerary Mr. E. Faraway, 24th of October 2008. Miami to Tobago. Flight BW426. Depart check-in time. Length of flight 1700 hours. 2 hours before departures. 4 hours. So let us look at this. 26. Using 24-hour clock, what is the expected time of arrival in Trinidad? The answer for this is 9 p.m. So departure is 1700 hours. That is 5 o'clock. Right? That's 5 o'clock. That's 5 o'clock. We're supposed to be there. Right? So check-in time is 2 hours before departure. Right? So if we deduct that, we're actually departing at 5. That'd be 4, 3. That'd be around 2. That'd be around 3. Because we're deducting the 2 hours time. So we're leaving at 15 hours. So in this case, if we were actually checking in at 3 o'clock, this is the check-in time. I'm sorry for the writing. So this is the check-in time. So we're checking in at 3 o'clock. So if we're going at 5, we're also going at 5, that would be 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're arriving at 8. I don't know what they're actually getting in here, but the correct answer in this instant, because we're adding with the addition of the 1700 hours, we're leaving at around 5, 2 hours before departure. The 6, 7 with the addition of 4. So let's speculate that it's actually 5 because they're not putting 8 here. I think they actually got this wrong. Because the actual check-in time is 3 o'clock. We understand that because it's 2 hours before the original departure time. I think it's supposed to be 1800 hours. But anyways, we'll work with the information we're given. So if we're leaving at 5 o'clock, we add on the additional 4 hours. That would be 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is 9. Looking back at the information. So yes, it is 9. So we just need to add the 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the 5. We are leaving at 5 o'clock. We just need to add on the 4 remaining hours because that's the length of flight. So the 5 plus the 4 6, 7, 8, 9, it would just be 9 o'clock. So let me just put this on the screen so you guys could actually see how it's actually conducted. It would be better if we use a calculator. So we're leaving at 5. I'll just put 5 for now because we're leaving at 5. We add on the additional 4 hours and then we'll get our 9. That's all we needed to do. We don't even need to worry about the check-in time. The check-in time is just 3 o'clock. So that's it for 9 o'clock. So, or 26. We're now moving on to 27. So which of the following personnel usually sits to the left of the chairman during a meeting? Person that usually sit next to the chairman is the secretary. The treasurer, the auditor, the shareholder, all of these persons are unrelated to the chairman. They're not even in the meeting. The auditor is, these terms are totally unrelated. So the best or the only answer is the secretary. So in the paper they did not disclose up to, so 28, let me just put that 28, 29, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 were not disclosed. So I cannot answer that. Were not disclosed. I believe the reason why they did not disclose it because they actually want to bring it back for 2020, 2024 May June. I believe they did not disclose it. If anyone has any idea who worked the January for this year, if you could remember any question relating to 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, or 34, I would really appreciate your insight. If you could remember the question, you could type in the comments below. So that's it. We're answer 34 and we'll close out for now. So an application for the position of dispatch clerk was addressed to a company. To whom should the mail clerk forward this application? The Human Resource Department. And yes, we'll close off right there, people. So yes, that is it. See you guys on the next video.